This is NBC Nightly News, brought to you by the Shell Oil Company. Shell is trying to make things better.
I think about school. Sometimes I wonder what it was all for.
I know I probably would have dropped out of school. If it hadn't been for APT, I would have.
APT stands for Automotive Professional Training and is now part of the curriculum in more than 30 high schools across the country. It's a program developed by Shell. It introduces high school students to a whole new world of scientific instruments and scientific thinking.
It was different from the rest of my classes.
It gave me something to keep going in, and it gave me a desire to keep in school.
If you want to try to make it, I think it'll help you. It kind of made you feel good to know that you went through something and you completed it.
Trying to make things better.
The Chinese communists have arrived in New York City to take over China's seats in the United Nations. The delegation flew in from Paris today on regular commercial airlines, headed by Deputy Foreign Minister Zhao Guanhua and the permanent delegation chief, Ambassador Wang Hua. Zhao said his country would work for world peace and for better relations with the United States. And here's how it all went.
Friendly Chinese were on hand at Kennedy Airport to welcome the representatives of the People's Republic of China to the United Nations when their Air France plane arrived from Paris. The Chinese officials were led down the ramp by Deputy Foreign Minister Zhao Guanhua, who is chairman of the delegation to the General Assembly. He was followed by Ambassador Wang Hua, who will be China's permanent representative and delegate to the Security Council. They were received by the UN's Chief of Protocol, Sian Corley. The Chinese were escorted to a group of UN diplomats waiting to greet them. Zhou was then introduced to the reporters.
Hello, Mr. Zhao Guanhua, the chairman of the delegation of the People's Republic of China to the 26th session of the United Nations General Assembly. Would like to meet the press and make a short statement to you. Please keep quiet, all the press.
今天我们中华人民共和国政府代表团很高兴地来到纽约，出席联合大会。
The people of the United States are a great people, and there exists a profound friendship between the peoples of China and the United States. We would like to take this opportunity to convey our good wishes to the people of all walks of life of New York City and the American people.
And so the first representatives of the People's Republic of China drove into New York. There they will prepare to take their places in the General Assembly and Security Council of the United Nations. This is Pauline Frederick, NBC News, Kennedy Airport, New York.
Yesterday, it was reported that one of the members of the Chinese delegation, Cao Liang, whom we just saw on film there a minute ago, is a leading espionage operative who has been expelled from a couple of countries and worked as an agent in many more. Today, Cao was asked about this, and he said, entirely slanderous. Well, the Chicago Sun-Times broke the story yesterday about Cao's career in espionage. Tonight, in another dispatch by its Washington correspondent, Thomas Ross, the paper quotes from Central Intelligence Agency documents which describe Cao as a master subversive. The story says a Chinese defector implicated Cao in the maneuverings which led to the assassination of the Prime Minister of Burundi, an African country, in 1965. China had set up relations with Burundi, which were broken after the assassination of the Prime Minister. Fidel Castro arrived yesterday in Chile and today began his state visit there, surrounded by bodyguards, a sort of Latin American happening. And here, by satellite, is how it went today.
In Cuba, Castro moves around, often changing the house in which he sleeps. He did the same thing here last night, driving off into the night with journalists forbidden to follow. This morning, Castro started his day with conversations with his host, President Salvador Allende. No communique was released on their conversation, but Allende had said he would talk to Castro on subjects ranging from the human to the divine. The two leaders appeared on the balcony to wave to the crowds. The public relations aspect of the visit is important both to Castro and Allende. But the desire to mingle with the people must be weighed against the requirements of security. Obviously, here, public relations won. The security precautions surrounding Castro are severe for Chile, but nothing like those enforced back home in Cuba. It was a virtual mob scene at this reef lane. Castro is a hero to the Chilean left and an object of friendly curiosity to the moderates. The right here doesn't like him, but few people believe that Castro is in any danger from the Chilean right wing. Still, unlike Cuba, Chile is an open society. Castro's enemies, Cuban exiles or others, could have come into Chile and be waiting in the crowds for their chance. The Cuban premier hasn't been out in the open like this for years.
Tomorrow, Castro will leave the capital and begin an arduous tour, which will take him from the extreme north of Chile to the southernmost city in the world, Punta Arenas on the Straits of Magellan. Fidel Castro says he wants to get to know the Chilean worker, the fishermen, the copper miners, the peasants. For Allende's government, the tour will serve to strengthen its revolutionary image. Tom Streithorst, NBC News, Santiago, Chile.
Hey, this isn't Alpo.
Honey, it's just like Alpo, only cheaper.
Read the ingredients.